Hello engineers, and welcome back to Space Engineers 2. Does that feel good to say out loud? It's been a minute since the last time I've said that sentence, since my last video on Space Engineers 2 in December, and welcome back everybody. Today's video is going to be a little different as I'm waiting to do more content around VS 2.2. But until then, I thought that I could do a little video showcasing something I've just completed. Two things before we get into this video real quick. I want to give a shout out to Johnny Dude for reviewing the ship I'm about to show you guys. He got access to it early, and if you guys want a chance to see stuff before it's made into a video, be sure to join my Discord. It's linked down below. And yeah, you can get an opportunity to see some things early, give a review, give feedback, maybe make suggestions on things, community events, and so on. And secondly, if you are already subscribed, great news! Every day up until VS 2.2 releases, because I'm going to switch back to, video formatting for some obvious reasons to do some videos, I will be streaming Space Engineers 2. I don't know what time of day I'll be streaming. I'm pretty busy. I've got a lot going on in my day-to-day as I'm trying to get some things completed IRL. Some pretty big things going on. But I will be streaming every single day, so if you don't want to miss a stream, be sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already for whatever reason, and be sure to turn your notifications on. Again, Discord is a great way to know whether I'm streaming or not, as I always post a notification over there when I go live, whether that's on YouTube or Twitch. But don't worry, you don't have to go to Twitch for these will all be over here on YouTube. Anyway, let's get into what today's video is. I finally, after some time, since I haven't played in a minute, completed the Mark II version of my Mark I. No, it's back there, don't look at it yet. Vintage. This was one of the first actual ships I've made in the game, if we ignore the joking little things I've made here and there and I've posted. This has been the first actual ship I've made, and it's based heavily, even part... even what? What? Even part? No, it is based heavily on a ship that I use pretty redundantly in Space Engineers 1, and I built it during the time where hydrogen wasn't a thing yet, the tanks nor the thrusters, so it's a complete ion, and it's pretty dated. This thing's like, what? I think actually this month a year ago is when I made this, so yeah, it's pretty old. And finally, I finished the Mark II variant, which has seen some significant updates, including hydrogen. So in today's video, we're going to be kind of going through the Mark II, kind of showcasing a little bit. If you are interested in playing around with this ship or that ship, the Steam link will be down below for this one, and of course you can just click on my profile and click over and download that one if you desire. And yeah, so let's get into it. So one of the first changes you may notice, actually there's quite a few you might just spot immediately off the bat, but one of the first ones I want to talk about is the runway. So the first one did have a runway. It had this little stripping, and then there was the landing area, and it had its little color thing. And with this one, I changed it a little bit. I added some lights, although they are kind of hard to see at the front. Do I have a flashlight on? Oh, what? Okay. Anyway, there's some lights. They are different colored, and they are, as all lights on this entire ship are grouped. So the left side and the right side are two different grouping if you wanted to change the lights or do anything special with them in the future. I really like this, just going through with the lights. I know runways are technically useless. Technically is really an understatement in Space Engineers 2, because it's a sci-fi game and we have vertical lift and this, that, and the other. We don't really need a runway, but I feel like it adds some nice character to this ship. This ship is kind of, a little bit more of a RP story, just kind of playing around with it. You going from planet to planet, region to region. Well, you can't actually go on the planets. It's a little heavy. It doesn't quite bow well with gravity, but, you know, it's it's not the point. That's not the point. That's not a flaw in my engineering. That's the flaw in the planet's gravity field. That's what I think, anyway. But yeah, I thought it adds character. I liked it. It let me flatten the nose, because the original model of this has, like, an arched nose, and it was ugly. You can't see, it's ugly, and I thought it was better if it was flattened and turned into, like, a landing pad area, in a runway. Another thing we did, I'm gonna ignore that for the very moment, is this was already here. We had these side, kind of landing pads on either side, but I revamped them a little bit. I added these little, like, thruster back blast slash, like, you know, hazard for the big thruster here. You know, if you go past this, you're probably gonna get scorched. I think this is the correct number of blocks for safety for thruster damage, but there's no real way of knowing yet, so I hope this is good enough. You know, I'm basing this off of SE1 a little bit, and the animation for how far the flame shoots in this version of the game. So I'm hoping I'm hoping that this is right. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Add a little detail, you know, these little, you know, like hazards, and then like outline thrusters, so some poor engineer doesn't come over here and get burnt to a crisp, not realizing there's a thruster there. I kept these ion, although I really could have gone with, like, changing up how these are. I mean, they're not horrible, but it is kind of dated. Maybe I'll, like, shift it around a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna do one more version of ship. It'll be the Mark III. I'm gonna wait till VS 2.2 is out, and that'll be the final rendition of the ship. That'll have kind of the final version. Yeah. I did just say that, didn't I? It'll have, like, you know, like, the features in 2.2. I don't want to say much, because, yeah, anyway, yeah. There will be one more version of the ship, and in that one, it will be revised, and the flaws of this will be, changed to the better, or worse. I guess that'll really just depend. Next, we got this little... It did kind of dampen the, like, landing area for this, so hopefully you're not, like, a super long ship trying to land on this, because that wouldn't work out too well. Added these little staircases on either side. It is mirrored, to allow you to... Oh, wait. Okay, no, there is a light on both sides. I got scared. I thought maybe I missed a light there for a second. Oh, I spent hours setting up these lights, man. I would have been really upset. To lead up to the, you know, top landing area, I wanted it to be a little more fluid. If you're landing up here, I didn't want you to have to, like, go in through, like, the bridge and on the way down, or try and jump down and then go in. I wanted it to connect a little better, so I made that. Now, if we move on to some of the greebling, because it's very obvious, we extended the hangar here a little bit. We did that with the first one, where we cut out one of the thrusters, because they were double thrusters on either side, just like the rear back here. We cut it out to make the little hangar, and it was okay. It was okay. We extended that forward a little bit to try and add a little bit of cone of protection. See, if you're, like, in the middle here, you've got a little more protection, whereas, hang on, let me pull out something. You see my little dot here? Before, it kind of ended right here where that red lining is, and that made all that area kind of hazardous. So if you had, like, a small loose block flying by, or PvE encounters in the future with maybe some small arms fire, or just, you know, whatever you really want to protect it from, it just kind of closed the cone a little bit without actually losing the amount of size that could go through here. This is a very small thing. You're not fitting a very big thing in here. It's like, what, a 3x3? It is really designed for much smaller things, like a little drone, or basically a flying seat. Nothing too special. We have all this landing area out here for bigger craft and such, so I didn't think it was that necessary to expand it. It only has top ports. I couldn't get the bottom ones the way I wanted it, so that was a little unfortunate. But we did change up some of the conveyors, although they're not obvious, because I did a really good job covering them. But there's some conveyor changes to add some better support lining. There was something I noticed. I like to crash my own ships and do things against them. That would probably be against the Geneva Convention. And it had a few issues with some conveying, so I fixed it. We did get some lights in here. Oh, I do have a light on. There we go. If it wasn't so bright over there, we have this more like kind of like calm-ish smooth light in the hangar, and then we have more brightish cold lights for the entranceway just to illuminate it a little better. But yeah, the hangar's looking good. Oh, we changed the windows. It was originally, oh, these are double thick. I forgot I did that. It was originally like 2 sets of windows stacked. Like, if we just zoom over here real quick. It was just a double stack of windows that was like 1 thick, so we changed that to 2 thick, which it doesn't really provide much protection, but if you had like a small loose block floating by that tapped it above the safety speed, it doesn't immediately vaporize into it. You do have 2 windows to kind of protect you just a tad bit. Again, it's windows, they don't really offer protection, but you know, it adds the illusion of protection, and that's important. That's half the battle, I'd say. If we come out here, we did do a little bit of greebling. I kind of hollowed out some of these blocks, and yes, you do see a light in there. We'll get on to that in a minute. And I think it added nice detail. I was working on this at the research facility, Save World, and I noticed that there was stuff like this on the red ship, and it kind of inspired me to kind of add some of that onto my own. With like these like vents or slits, just to add a little depth. I know somebody's probably looking at this and going, Jake, it's a ship in space, it doesn't need air vents. And my rebuttal is, wah. No. No. My rebuttal is that you don't have to view it as an air vent, you could view it as different things. This could be where the heat is distributed out of the thrusters, or the batteries, or, you know, just view it however you want, or just little slits. It breaks up the, like, the continuation of this red spanning across, because it was something I didn't like very much about this one, is it was just red, and why I wanted the red outline, I didn't like how like non-detailed it was, especially with like the band right here, or the lower nose band. I just didn't like it very much, and I think this looks significantly better like that. And having some like black color undertone really creates like this void effect, like depth to it that isn't actually there, but it looks like it's there, and it makes it nice. That's another thing we did something like that up here, which in the sunlight you can see the red and it looks really good, but in the dark it's a little less obvious. I was thinking about putting a light in one, but then when I tested that in the shadows, I was like, this kind of looks ugly, so I decided not to. Here's an example of one of those lights right here, adding some like light luminous coming out of there, and I think it looks pretty good. It certainly adds its own little detail to it, especially back there. Oh, mwah! I love the way that looks. And as you can see on this side, there is one on either side, but it's a little more obvious on the side. There's some slight luminance for the landing pad. Here's the case you're landing in like a more dark side, you know, if you're behind an asteroid or the ship's rotated with the sun. There's one on the other side, and there is also 2 on each of these little landing things, but again, the sun's top down, so it doesn't really have much effect. We also did a little bit of a change back here. We did some coloring, and oh, okay, the shadow of that made that kind of look like one of those like neon texture blocks from SE1. I get very confused. I was like, I don't remember that being a thing. It's just the shadowing. It looks really good though. Like, it kind of looks like it's like glowing RGB going through there. Oh, that poor soul's playing War Thunder. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I actually have a video coming on that game myself. Spoilers, my bad. But we did some recoloring because I wanted to kind of have the name be like plated a little bit, and like having a little box around it. And it was kind of dark, and I wanted to add some like lighting, kind of like how I've done with the other parts of the ship down through here. And no matter how I set it, the lights would just be too bright, and it would like cause weird shadows, or you couldn't see the letters correctly. And I wanted it to be red because if I did white light, it would just break up the entire aesthetic. Like, imagine you're on the dark side. You've got this nice reds, some of these darks, and then these beautiful oranges of the thrusters, and then a bright white light on the back. It just didn't sit well, in my opinion. So I did, I painted behind it. That also looks a little weird. Is that G reversed? No. Vintage Mark II. I don't know. I painted behind it black, but of course, because of the way I placed it, it didn't line up, so there was these, like, borders around, because these are big blocks. So I took it upon myself to just, like, fully paint up and down this section, and I think it looks good. I continued the red line through here, although it does technically drop a block, but it's okie dokie. I went ahead and painted little red hues around the thruster here. I missed a spot! Oh no, I'm gonna have to update that. I missed a spot. Damn, that's my bad, guys. I'll see, there isn't symmetry painting at the moment, and I painted this side, and then I tried to remember everything I did and paint the other side, and I missed the spot. I will update the blueprint and fix that. But I'll do that later, so I don't take up your wonderful time, your very precious time. And yeah, I think it looks good. I think it looks good, like the darker bit. And then I painted up the engines a little bit. I added red tips around because we're already red tipping here. And then I did like blacks around it. And then I striped the inside because I've always had an issue where I hated the way this inside looked. There was like no depth to it. It was just like a blank wall. And I think striping it made it look a lot better. Of course, as you can see from this one to this one, I have switched from ion, heavily ion, to hydrogen with ion support. And I did actually have to do a little bit of rewiring some of the conveyors, especially down here. For some strange reason, these were not connected, even though the conveyors were laid out the exact same way as they were in SE1. It's kind of weird. Oh god, that sun. I don't know why it was like that, but I have gone through and I fixed it, and I added a redundancy line just in case it does something weird in the future. Where there was turrets and a welder support, I have added tiny little thruster pockets. I mean, they don't really add that much to the ship, but it keeps that space from looking blank and empty like it was before. I will be removing that VS2 for a piston, because originally this ship had a piston with a connector on it, so it could like come out and like connect to a station or another ship, or really whatever you want to connect it to, I suppose. And because there's no piston in the game currently, I've replaced it with a thruster just to add that tiny amount of more thrust. Not that it's really needed, but it is what it is. I did split these. I did do half and half for hydrogen and ion. What the? Why isn't that painted? What? Why is this painted? Okay. I've somehow magically painted blocks I never touched. Okay, well, I did say I was going to update the mod, or not the mod, the blueprint at some point when I finish doing some grouping, so that'll be part of the update. Cool. Sorry that we have to find that out together, guys. It's kind of unprofessional of me. My apologies. But I did split it. Instead of it just being ions or just hydrogen like the original was, I did kind of make a little conversion, because we don't really need much for down thrust for this ship. I mean, it's primarily used in space, like 99% of the time. And because the sheer up thrust and forward thrust and the way rotation works in SE2, I could just, you know, angle it and thrust away in a different direction or up. So I thought a little bit of hybrid would do some good. Just in case I run out of hydrogen, then I had a little bit of ion to guide me down just a tiny bit. I did not take that liberty with the bottom side though. That is all hydrogen. So if you need to thrust up for any reason whatsoever, good luck. I'm just playing. I will probably replace one of those with ion in the Mark III just for redundancy's sake, just in case you run out of hydrogen. But yeah, that's kind of what I've done with the exterior. I think we've looked at it pretty good. I mean, I haven't said everything about it, but you know, you have eyeballs. You could see what I've done. So let's go on to some of the interior. Start with going inside through here. So we come down the stairs here. We have our little crew quarters. With this one, we went with kind of a cool light. As you'll notice, each area has its own light, and they are grouped, so you could change them. We have a little crew quarters in here. It's got a locker, some chests above the beds, a little desk thing. They do each have their own window. It is a little thicker than most, but that again is just in case you catch a random little blocker rock you don't want, you know, to vent out your entire crew section. That wouldn't be very good. Everyone goes flying out a window. They do have their own bathrooms, 3 showers, 3 toilets either side, little sink, and yeah, it looks nice. And then the final room is just a repeat. It's identical on either side. So, not a lot going on. This room doesn't have much for lighting because I wanted you to be able to just stand in here and just appreciate the planet you're looking down on. Without having a bunch of, like, light reflections like what's going on over here. The medical room saw no change. Listen, it's bigger than what it was at SE1. It's kind of weird. I have to, like, do a bunch of stuff to get this to work right in here, okay? Did I do the thing with these? No, I did not. I did do a bunch of door changes, like this one, so it's very nice. Oop, that's not what I meant. I wanted to lower my speed just a little bit. There we go. That thruster sounds insane. Jesus. Alright. Coming into here, we have our engine room with more of a warm lighting. You may be curious why there's a spotlight right there. In SE1, I do actually have a, like, display table right here showing the first blueprint of my ships. Like, if this is like a Mark V, it will show the Mark I sitting there, you know what I mean? And just for future prepping, when that does come into the game, a little display like that, I can have that sitting there again and holographing down. We did add battery packs. They're easily accessible. You can sit here and yoink them out without having to run around and try and find them. There's 6 in here, and I think another 4 or 8 in the sub-engine room. You do have your reactors. I thought about double stacking them, but the amount of weight that was adding wasn't really worth it compared to the little amount of thrust, because this is heavy. This is 140 PCU, which that means there's a lot of blocks, which means it's quite heavy. I need, oh, what happened? I had a refinery in here, now it's gone. Uh-oh. Okay, well, I will, I'll be adding a refinery to this and then updating it. What? There was a refinery right here. Did I, like, place it on a block that wasn't connected? I may have done that. Oh, I did do that. Oh, I did, because I had blocks that were, like, right here on the side of the thruster, and oh, well, that's my bad. See, not everyone's perfect. We all make mistakes. If we come along into the sub-engine room, we've got kind of like this low lighting going on in here. Got a gravity field down there. We have all the other blocks you would need for survival placed along the inside here. Along with some bonus reverse hydrogens just tucked back in here. And yeah, it's pretty nice. I will be fixing the refinery problem, I promise. I'm so sorry about that. I did not realize. Oh, it is, okay, so there's 2 here, 2 there, so it's another 4 batteries, all accessible. I mean, you don't really need that many batteries. They add a bunch of weight when you have 2 refineries. I mean, the batteries are more or less just like backup or support when the refineries are maxed out or running low on fuel. So if we come back up here and up the stairs, we will get very motion sick as we go. We will come to the bridge, which hasn't really changed much. It got some lighting. We kind of went with like a ghastly kind of lighting in here. And yeah, it looks pretty nice. I like it. And I think that's really all I need to cover with this one. It was a change, and there was a lot changed, but it wasn't like an entirely new ship. You know what I mean? It's like the Mark II, not Mark 202. Another thing, if I... Can I hit I on this? Or is it K? What? Oh, am I forced to... Okay. So if I go... Let me switch to first person. And Alt look behind me. I can't actually see any of the lights. Never mind. Control panel. I do have a bunch of groups. As you can see, all the lights are regrouped. There are hydrogen tanks that are reserved. They're small, tiny, really nothing. As you can see, the runway lights are toggleable. It's very hard to see that in the distance. I'll try and zoom in, but I probably won't, to be honest with you. Let's see. Oh, another thing we have is this. We have our red alert lights for those that just want to have that kind of going on in the ship. Lights up. It's all throughout the... Whoa, I am like deep in the guts of the ship right now. Got little red alert lights going on throughout it. If you wanted to kind of do a PvE, or I'm sorry, like a RP kind of scenario with it, you know, you're under attack and such. The ship isn't really meant for combat. I mean, it's built off a frame of a ship that was for combat, but like this like version is not intended for combat. I mean, but yeah, I don't really have much more to say. I think I've kind of yapped your ear off, and don't really have much more to say, to be honest. I hope you guys like the ship. I really enjoyed making it. It did take me a while. I'm not very good at building. I've never been good at building. I really can't build worth anything. I tend to just take something I either already made or something that already exists, and then I like heavily modify it. And this is like one of those things where this is a ship that I've made many versions of, and this is just another version of that ship. So I hope you guys enjoy this version, and I will see you again as a reminder in my streams. I will be streaming every day. We will just be kind of hanging out, just playing some SE2, hanging out. What will we be doing? We'll be working on like blueprints and ships, updating some stuff, because I have a couple other blueprints that are a little outdated because they were like before batteries and hydrogen tanks, so they don't technically function now. They do need to be fixed. And yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Looking to watch more videos from me? Click here or click here, and I'll see you right over there. And while you're here, maybe consider clicking here and subscribing. Bye for now.